I'm a guy who has built my career on sales, and so a lot of people assume that I'm a born salesman, but nothing could be further from the truth. I know this because I was born into a family of academics, researchers. Both my parents were university professors, and they were, well, let's say they had a kind of an interesting relationship with selling and with commercial things in general. They were a bit kind of making fun of salespeople. I remember when I was a child and a salesperson would call my home, my mother would answer the phone, and she would pretend to be the maid and tell the person on the other line that the family had moved to Europe for several months and would not be coming back anytime soon. Clearly, the message was, do not call here ever again. Imagine their surprise when, after a brief stint as a journalist, I actually decided to shift to the business side of the media. And early on in this transition, I actually had the opportunity to work with a senior salesperson who really helped me shift my mindset about what selling was. And it was in embracing this mind shift and mindset that enabled me to take on increasingly more senior sales roles, ultimately becoming Senior Vice President of Global Ad Sales for NBC Universal International based in London, overseeing a $150 million business in 30 countries. So, I don't know what your starting point or your belief about sales is. It could be that sales is about trying to convince somebody to buy something they don't really need. Or maybe it's something you fear because you don't understand. It's like the voodoo of sales and marketing. Or maybe you just don't like the idea of being rejected, right? You're a product person. You don't want to deal with selling. Whatever your belief is, there's one fundamental truth that you must understand about business. And that is that nothing happens until somebody sells something. Peter Drucker, the famous management guru, said this, and what he meant by this is that the transaction between a buyer and a seller is what drives business. You can have an incredible product. It can have all the bells and whistles. But if you can't pay people to pay for it, it's not a business, it's a hobby. So, knowing how to sell and market to customers is fundamental if you want to build a long-term sustainable business. The best way to achieve this is to adapt the same mindset that I adapted 27 years ago. You see, what this gentleman taught me is that selling is not about trying to convince people to buy something they don't need. What you're actually doing is helping somebody solve a problem. And let's be honest, who is it that doesn't want people to help them solve their problem? And so, understanding that you're providing a product or a service that helps improve somebody else's lives completely changes your approach.